everyone, and welcome once again to another post-match edition of The View from the Midwest. I am the Last Sane Sports Fan, and let's talk about tonight's game that took place between the St. Louis FC and the Wilmington Hammerheads on July 1st. Well, there was good and there was bad for the St. Louis FC, as it seems to be typical in these recent weeks. Fortunately for St. Louis FC, they picked up a point, as is their typical MO. If they're going to get a point, it's usually only one. Only 3 wins on the year. And as you're past the halfway point now, that's probably something that's really going to have to change. They're still within striking distance of making a playoff spot, and the team continues to gel. They continue to kind of get things figured out and begin forming more of a cohesive unit. Again, they kind of tried another formation, which I wasn't necessarily in favor of. In terms of the way they lined up, they started with a 4-1-4-1. Now, obviously, as you go throughout a game, you change positions, you kind of fall back, you go forward. They probably weren't just static in a 4-1-4-1. But I can't say that they didn't create chances. I can't say that it wasn't potentially beneficial for that team. If you're going to have a lone forward, so far this season, Jeremy Lynch has really proven that he's really the only one that is capable of doing that, because he's very good on the ball. He's very good at holding it up. He's very pacey if you want to play him in towards the back and try to go over the top. And so he's the man that needs to be doing that. Obviously, you have to give him rest when he needs rest, and if he picks up a knock here or there, you need to find other ways of continuing on and providing some offense. But maybe this is a formation that'll work for them. I'd really like to see a little more of Kingsley Bryce. I thought he did okay in his action time on the field tonight. There were a lot of good performances overall, but again, a 0-0 draw is not really anything to write home about. St. Louis came away with a point. It's an important point on the road against a team that was trying to attack themselves. St. Louis really found themselves a good cohesion defensively. They really kind of gelled. Can made a few good saves when he was called upon. Not a whole lot of chances. I don't know what the final chances versus chances were, because they haven't released the box score as of when I'm recording this video. But again, positives and negatives. You have to look at things in a positive light, considering the last 2 results for St. Louis FC. A couple really poor performances at home. They got embarrassed against the New York Red Bulls 2. Previous time, it wasn't a good outing then as well. So you come out, you get the clean sheet. That's always an important goal to have every single match. You get the clean sheet, and you create chances. So those are the positives for St. Louis FC to really take out of this game. The negatives are they just cannot finish. They had several chances, whether off corner kicks or free kicks or just throughout the run of play. Although the second one wouldn't have counted anyway had it gone in. Jeremy Lynch hit the crossbar twice right before time, once before halftime and then another time before the final whistle. Brian Gall shanked one wide at least once, if not twice. Maher, Parker Maher, I think that's how you say his name. He had an excellent chance. If he would have one-timed the shot, he had the goal wide open. Obviously, the goalkeeper would have had an opportunity for a save, but he needed to one-time that shot. Instead, he tried to settle it, bring it back over to the left foot. Even if he had gotten that shot on goal, all of a sudden now there's 2 defenders plus one of his own teammates right in front of him, but probably wouldn't have gotten on target anyway. But it goes off his side footing, and it was just kind of a good example of everything that went on offensively for St. Louis FC during this night. They couldn't finish, and that has been their problem all season. Most of their goals have come off of corner kicks, at least the home games. On the road, they've scored a few goals here or there from the run of play. But really, at home, I can only remember the Mike Ambersley smash that he just buried it in the back of the net. Just outside the box, as being a goal that came from the run of play. Everything else seems to be head balls, corner kicks, free kicks, what have you. And they've really got to start scoring from the run of play. It was good to not concede the first goal, but you would have liked to have scored a goal and gotten the 3 points. But they have an important game coming up this weekend. You have a little bit of positive momentum rolling into Saturday when they're going to take on the Charlotte Independents. And that's going to be a key game for them because Independents right now are 1 point ahead of St. Louis FC. Both of them are below the playoff line right now. But if you can go on the road against the Independents, keep them down below that line, potentially put yourself over that line, then all of a sudden you have to regard this as a fairly decent road trip, even though you didn't collect all 6 points. Still got to focus towards the weekend, get those 3 points. Learn how to finish your chances. It's easier said than done. It's easy for us as fans and for me to sit here in front of a camera and say, well, you just got to bury those. It's not as easy as that sounds. But as professionals, they really need to start finding a way to put the ball in the back of the net, collect those 3 points, really start to push yourselves towards that last half of the season. One last little note, very heartbreaking loss for the England women in the World Cup. For those of you who didn't see it, go find the highlight. I mean, it's just absolutely gut-wrenching for that to happen. As a fan of the United States, I was kind of actually hoping that Japan would win, so therefore we would have a chance at redemption from the loss in 2011. Now all of a sudden we do get that. We're going to play Japan in the 2015 World Cup final. I think it'll be a good final. I think the United States is going to win as long as they play the way that they've played the last 2 games against China and Germany. I don't think Japan is the same team that we played the last time in and of that they have that much chance of beating us. If the United States plays their game the way that they have the last couple games, U.S. wins. If they play the way they played in the group stages, then all of a sudden China's back in it. But that having been said, England, you have to feel for them. You never like to see anybody score in that manner. I mean, she was just trying to make a defensive stop. Instead, it went off of her foot in a very solid manner, off the crossbar, down inside the net. And that's unfortunately the way the game of soccer goes. It can be a cruel mistress sometimes. And England, as they usually find out on the men's side early in the tournament, found out late on the women's side in this tournament. So my heart goes out to them, but I'm still looking forward to this weekend when the United States will play in the final. St. Louis FC will be taking on Charlotte. So it should be a good weekend of soccer. Hopefully you all enjoy it wherever you may be watching. That is the view from the Midwest in this Postmatch edition. Leave a comment, rate, and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook, comment and give us a thumbs up there as well. But until the next time, I'll see you then.